Have you ever wondered what's in those big, pillowy, drive-through buttermilk biscuits? I'll give you a clue. Plenty of preservatives, dough stabilizers, and all kinds of things that we don't like to eat. Today on Feast and Farm Cooks, I'm going to show you how to make real deal, Southern girl buttermilk biscuits in your own home kitchen. Join me and let's get started. Now, I'm doing this with an all butter version. You can absolutely use a refined coconut oil that has no coconut flavor if you want to use that to have more of that shortening experience. I don't use vegetable shortening anymore. I have a blog post about that over on Feast and Farm if you want to find out why we stopped using vegetable oil. But let's get started. Into our bowl, I have about 2.5 cups, give or take. I do this by eye almost all the time, but there is a recipe that I will leave for you below. This is about 2.5 cups of self-rising flour. If you want to learn how to make self-rising flour, I'll leave you a link to that video right here. And basically, it's all-purpose flour, baking powder, and salt. So I've got that in a bowl right here. Now I've got 8 tablespoons or 1 stick of butter. This is salted butter that I have grated on a box grater. I just find this to be so much easier than trying to work with those little cubes of butter all the time. So I'm going to work this in, if I can get the majority of it out. And make sure it's cold. This butter has to be cold if you want it to work in properly. So I'm going to break this up. If you are on a dairy-free diet and you've got a dairy-free butter of some kind that you're using, that's okay. That's fine if you need to. So break this up with your hands, and I hope you guys are okay with watching me use my hands because that's the only way I know to do this. Learn to feel the food. It's okay to do that. My mom taught me that way. Put your hands in it. As long as they're clean, it's all right. All right, so I got that in. And mostly, we've got that broken up into chunks. Now we're going with buttermilk. Now, how much buttermilk you need is going to vary depending on the moisture in the air and all kinds of things. So I've got 3/4 of a cup here. I don't know if I'm going to need it all. And before you ask me, do you have to use buttermilk? I'm going to tell you yes. And so I think the tang of that is something that's irreplaceable. If you have to make your own buttermilk with vinegar and milk, you can do so. I just don't think it tastes the same. And we do the best we can. But regular milk and what we call in the country, we call it sweet milk. I just don't think it adds what it needs. All right, let's see if this is going to get us there. We may need a little more. So I needed more milk. We've got the whole jug now. I'm just going to work it in there until I get it all in. If you want your biscuits to be softer, then add more milk. If you want them to be a little bit on the drier, kind of a more crumbly kind of biscuit, you add a little less milk. So I will show you what I want these to look like. And when I first started learning biscuits, my husband's grandmother said, you got to whip it. She was like, put your fork in there. Once you got your milk in and everything's in, just beat it around really good a couple of times. Just a couple, like that. And that's what she says you've got to do to kind of help build them up. Let me show you how to do the next part. So we're going to put some flour out on our board here. Not too much, just a little. And we're going to work this dough out. Do you see how wet that is? Can you tell? That's what we're going for. It's sticky, okay? Because I like my biscuits to be soft. And that's how I make my dough. They will also, when you make a really soft dough like this, it will tend to make your biscuits kind of want to fall over a little bit in the oven. That's okay. All right, so no rolling pins here. We're going to turn this over on itself. Use the flour that you've got. Turn it over a couple of times. If you've never made biscuits, please don't be scared. It just takes a little practice. Okay, so I'm going to turn them over on itself. This just kind of helps to build up those layers a little bit. And then we get this nice little ball, and we press it down. We're going for roughly a knuckles height, a little less than that. That's about 1 inch tall. So once we get it out there, it's about where we're going. Now to cut your biscuits, you have put your cookie sheet out or whatever you're going to bake them on. Then you've got your cookie cutter. This was my grandmother's, and I've had it for a really, really, really long time. It makes teeny tiny little 2-inch biscuits, but that's just what we eat. So dip your cutter in some flour and then just straight down. Now you can slide side to side, just don't twist your cutter. Straight down, slide in, pat it out, put it on your cookie sheet. Now, let's set that over there. Straight down, side to side, and out, just like that, okay? Now, I like mine to touch on the cookie sheet because I want them to be, again, soft. If you want your edges to be a little bit more crispy, then leave a little space between them on the pan. All right, I'm going to cut all these out, and I'll show you what they look like in just a couple of minutes. So we've got, what have we got? 3, 6, 9, 12. I've got 15 biscuits here. I usually can get about 16 out of a batch. And these are gonna go in the oven at 400 for 20 minutes or so, just until they're golden brown on the bottom and a little bit golden brown on the top. For more Southern classics, click this playlist right here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.